Boker Tov, we're up to the third bracha of the sheva brachos. Today is a last sheva brachos with us and the Rabbi Daniel with Klal Yisrael and the Creator of the universe. And according to one opinion, which is if we start the 7-day count from the second day of Yantav, then we have still one more day where we're not saying Tachnan and we're still celebrating the sheva brachos. So we're getting back to the third blessing. The third blessing is Yotzer Ha'adam, creating man, creating the man. What's the idea of Yotzer Ha'adam? What should we be thinking when we're sitting by the chuppah and we're hearing this bracha or by sheva brachos, and we decide to focus in and tune in to the opportunity of what this could teach us? So we have to compare this also to the next bracha, which is also a very similar bracha. Asher Yotzer Ha'adam, not the bracha of going to the bathroom, Asher Yotzer Ha'adam b'chokhmah, which many times people have confused the two. But Asher Yotzer Ha'adam b'tzalmoi, b'tzelem d'mus tamnisnoi, v'hiskino mimenu binyan ad yad, which basically describes Hashem creating man in the image of God and establishing for him a binyan ad yad, a building, an everlasting building, which of course is referring to the wife. So what's the difference between the third bracha and the fourth bracha? And the answer is, Rashi tells us, based on the Gemara Maseches Ksuvas, that there were two stages. Stage number one, the original Yetzirah, perfected man, was when he was created totally attached to his wife. That means what the Gemara says and Midrashim say, it was du partzufim, man on one side, a woman on the other side, attached to the back. You can imagine what it was like. And that's how the perfect man was created. However, Hashem afterwards separated Adam Arishon. That was a second creation. It was actually a dispute if it was exactly what the process was of how they were split, but there was a split. So the obvious question is, why is it that if Hashem was anyway going to make us separate from our wives, didn't he do that from the beginning? What's the lesson and what can we think about and learn from these two blessings? And the answer is in the Ravid. The Ravid is a Rishon, and he's quoted by the Tur in Even HaEzer. This is the introduction to the laws of Even HaEzer, which basically deal with marriages and divorces. Says the Even HaEzer, says the Tur, man and woman were created together because if they were not created as one unit originally, it would be impossible for them to get together. It would have been impossible for that union to take place. Why? Because men and women are so different. You don't need to read the book, Men are from Mars and Women are from Venus. Chazal say this concept. Am bifnei atzmoi. It's the danger is when we start confusing and trying to figure out how we could make everyone equal. Terrible destruction, because that's not the way God created us. We are different. Men are different and women are different. And probably one of the most important lessons to teach a chassan and a kala, or a husband and a wife, for anyone, about marriage is to realize the differences, is to understand the differences. When husbands start understanding what women need and when women understand what men are all about, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different playing field. There's the success is much more doable than any time before. If we're so confused about our roles, if we're so confused about the nature of each other, that's chaos. The first step is to understand and recognize it's a gift. Hashem gave us who we are, He made us who we are, and He gave us our specific koichas and our specific potential and our specific personality. And with that, we could come to an incredible union together. And that's only because God made it possible from before. So when we're sitting at the chuppah, or we're sitting and listening to this bracha, and we're saying Amen, and we're focusing and say, Amen means I say that this is true, I attest that this is true. What I mean to say is, what we should be thinking about is that I believe, and I could recognize, and I should recognize, and I want to internalize this idea. I'm different, my spouse is different, but together, when we recognize the differences and we work together, we could come to the perfected man. That's why it's called Ha'adam, Yotzer Ha'adam. We go back to Adam Arishon. That means, and I've heard this in the name of Hutner, I've heard the Zichron said, that a chassan and a kala underneath the chuppah get a new soul. That new soul is going back to that perfected state of Adam Arishon and Chava. And Alvai should we zeicha that we should all reach that perfection again. And no one has to be perfect. We have to strive to get to that place. And Hashem should give us a koyach to do so. Have an amazing day. I want to dedicate this to Avi Berg's wedding simcha, and he should have tremendous nachas from his children, that they should have reached the level of ha'adam. Hatzlacha.